Hello, everyone. Welcome to the episode. Today is episode 43. Welcome. And I'm recording this live on YouTube. If you are here, I would love for you to say hello to me. And we will go ahead and get started. I just want to check really quick, just make sure that I'm live on YouTube. I'm so sorry about that. Hold on. Let me just check. Okay. Yes, I'm live. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. If you are listening on the podcast or if you're watching on YouTube, watching the replay. So I want to start by saying, let me just turn this off because I can hear it on in my ear playing on my phone. Okay. So let me just share how this episode will go. So welcome, everybody. So I want to apologize, first of all, by I was supposed to go live about 2 hours ago, and then the DirecTV guy showed up, and the AT&T guy showed up at the same time. And so I needed to move this back 2 hours. So if you were jumping on expecting me to come on at 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time and I wasn't there, I just want to say I'm sorry. I really apologize about that last minute change and moving it to 1 o'clock Pacific time today. So thank you for your patience on that. And then I just want to remind you that this is being recorded live on YouTube. And then I take this episode and I take it and I put it on Spotify and Apple Podcast and all wherever you're listening, wherever you get your podcast. I upload it and put it there. So apologize for any mistakes or anything like that. I do very minimal editing and I post it. I want to get this information out to you because I really do want to help you. Okay, so, and then before we get into the episode and the topic, one more thing. There are 3 books that changed my life. They changed my life. They changed my drinking. They are not quick lit books because I didn't even know what a quick lit book was until after I had already stopped drinking. But in the description below or in the show notes, if you're listening on a podcast, there's a link. I want to tell you what those 3 books are so that you can look into them and see if that's see if that's a book, see if those are books that you would want to purchase and read or listen to if you like Audible. But I highly, highly recommend those books. They will not only change your drinking, they will change your life. So please consider going to that link and getting the names of those 3 books. All right. So let's go ahead and get into today's topic. I've been hearing from more and more of you, and this topic seems to be coming up quite a lot. So I thought that I would do an episode on this topic because if it's impacting a few of you, then I know that it's probably impacting a lot more of you. So what is the topic? The topic is, many of you that listen to this podcast or watch it on YouTube are obviously wanting to cut back on your drinking or quit altogether. But your partner or your spouse is a drinker as well and is not ready to make any changes, but you are. And that's impacting the way that you show up and your decisions that you make and your ability to cut back or to quit. So that's what I want to talk about today. It's something I've been hearing a lot from you guys. And if you are here live, I just want to say welcome. Thank you for being here. And if you have any questions about the topic at hand or any questions that you want me to answer on this podcast, please feel free to put it in the comments below. And of course, if you're watching the replay, you can put it in the comments below as well. And I will answer your questions on a future episode. I am happy to do that. That's why I'm here, because I just want to remind you that I can say from experience, so in November of this year, it will be 5 years that I've been alcohol free. So I'm about right at 4.5 years. And it's the best decision I ever made. And I just can't imagine my life with alcohol in it. So I want to encourage you to stay on this path, to stay on this journey. You might end up taking one step back to take 2 steps forward. It's okay. It's okay. There's not really a finish line. If you don't know my story, it's episode 33 and 34. I started making little changes as I was doing the work on myself. I started making little changes about what I was drinking and when I was drinking. And that ultimately led to me just one day waking up and being like, that's so weird. I just don't feel like drinking today. And I haven't drank since. And every day I just wake up and I'm like, definitely don't feel like drinking today. I definitely feel like being alcohol free because it is the best decision you will ever make. Now, it's a path, it's a journey. And maybe this topic at hand is slowing your journey down. That's okay. But let's talk more about it. Okay? All right. So there's 2 ways that I think about this. When I was really drinking heavily, there was a point in my life where I did not want to date. This is when I was single, when I did not want to date anybody who was a non-drinker. I just didn't want to. But there was a point in my life before I got to that point where I actually did meet somebody and dated a guy who was alcohol free, and he had been alcohol free for a while. He had a problem with that. And he just decided that he was going to AA meetings. I've never been to an AA meeting. It's just not something that resonated with me, but he did go. And the whole time that we dated, he did not drink alcohol. And the reason why I'm telling you, like, there was these 2 times in my life where I wouldn't choose to date anybody who was alcohol free. And then there was a time where it didn't really matter. And that's because when I was dating somebody who didn't really he didn't want to drink. Okay. It's because I didn't really think that I had a problem with drinking. I wasn't really thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about quitting. But I also wasn't thinking about what he thought about me as a drinker. So he was a non-drinker. I was a drinker. And he obviously didn't care that I was a drinker. We connected, we had fun together. We like it, like I could drink and he was a designated driver, which was awesome. But he wasn't thinking about me a certain way, and I wasn't thinking about him a certain way. We were just together and we had fun and we were able to connect without that being a common denominator. So now let me just fast forward to, so after that, we ended up breaking up. That's a whole nother story for another time. But after that, when I was back into the dating scene, I chose to date only men who were drinkers. I did not want to date somebody who was a non-drinker. Now, at this time, I was drinking a lot heavier, a lot more, I should say, a lot more. And it was a lot more of a problem in my life. But because I wouldn't date a non-drinker, I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with non-drinkers. But it's how I was thinking about them. Like, I didn't want to date them. I didn't want somebody to say, wow, you're drinking too much, or, maybe your drinking is a little bit too much of a problem. Like, I didn't want to hear that. Now, I promise you I'm going somewhere with this, okay? But I didn't want to hear that from somebody else. That, oh, your drinking might be a little bit of a problem. Like, you might be drinking too much or too often. Or are you sure you want to drink all day on a Sunday fun day? And that was a reflection of what I was thinking about myself. Even though it was like a subconscious thing, I really didn't think I had a problem. Maybe I thought I drank a little bit too much on Sundays because of how much I hated Mondays, which I hated Mondays. They were the worst. They were the hardest because I had to come back to reality and I was hungover. I was tired. It just really sucked. Mondays sucked. But where I'm going with this point is that you're the one who's making the decision to cut back or go alcohol free, and your partner is the one who is continuing to drink and drink the same way that you always drink. And if you are the one that's thinking it's a problem, that, well, how am I going to connect with my partner? How am I, like, this is how we have fun together? I want to let you know that that's just how you're thinking about it. That's not necessarily how your partner is thinking about it, although he or she might be thinking that way about it. So what do you do about it? There's a couple of things that you can do about this, that you can do here. I'm going to give you both ways. One is that you don't say a word. You don't say a word about you wanting to cut back or quitting and wanting their support or anything like that. And you just do it. You just make your decisions. You drink less. Instead of having those 3 glasses of wine, you just cut it back to 2. And I bet that your partner does not even notice that you're drinking less. That's one way. The other way, and I want to give you another example of something that's going on in my life regarding a similar situation, but it's not around drinking, but I want to come back to that. But here's another way that you can talk to your partner. You can actually have a conversation and say, hey, I just want to let you know, I just want to cut back a little bit right now on my drinking because I really want to work on my health. I'm gaining weight and I really want to lose a little bit of weight. I just don't feel good. I want to feel better. I want to look great for summer. I just want to feel a little bit more like less stressed out. Whatever your reasons are, why you're wanting to do this. And maybe they're even deeper than that because those are pretty, less stress. But maybe you just really want to make this change in your life. Because I'll tell you, when you make this change in your life and you become a non-drinker, when you become alcohol-free, your whole life is just going to up-level so much. You have no idea until you become a non-drinker or alcohol-free. I'm telling you. So you tell your partner, you say, hey, I just want to let you know that I love you so much. I care about you. Nothing's going to change between us. Our connection is not changing or anything like that, but I really want your support because I love you and I really want to do this for us. I want to do this for me, but I want to do this for us because I'll show up as a better version of myself. I'll feel better. I'll look better. I'll be more healthy. And these are the reasons why. But you're going to want to assure them that nothing's going to change in terms of your relationship because they might be thinking, we don't know what they're thinking, but they could be thinking, but this is our time that we connect. This is how we connect. This is what we do. And you're going to assure them that, hey, it's okay. Like, I promise you that nothing's going to change between us. I love you. You're amazing. I want your support. I'd love your support. I'm just going to drink a little bit less, but nothing else is changing. And just assure them. And you might have to do this more than one time, especially if they're coming back to you and, they might sabotage you. They might try to sabotage you and bring you your favorite, maybe you say, I'm not going to drink tequila anymore. I'm just going to drink wine and Prosecco. And they might try to sabotage you and bring you tequila. They might do that. That's another episode. So we'll talk about that another time. but they might also be supportive. And they might be like, wow, good for you. Of course, I'll support you. And if they try to sabotage you, though, that's reflecting something going on inside of them. This is a good time for me to bring up this point. So you guys know I quit drinking, November 1st, 2020. But my partner has never he's not really been a big drinker, but he's a big foodie. So he likes to eat. And we started this thing where, because I stopped drinking, he stopped drinking completely because he wasn't really into it in the first place, but he loves to eat. So there's this thing, like we started going to get ice cream together. And I've talked about this. We started to go to that little ice cream store, our favorite ice cream store. If you guys have ever heard of it, it's called Handel's. There's some all the way. I don't know if they're in other countries, but in the United States. Handel's, HANDEL''S, the best ice cream ever. Well, that's what we do. Like, that's the thing that we were doing, is we were going and getting ice cream. And stick with me here. Stick with me. I was starting to get more and more, like I started with a small, then I moved up to a medium, then I moved up to a pint, and then I moved up to a quart of ice cream, of mint chocolate chip ice cream. I moved up to like that's a whole nother story. But I know I keep saying that, but I've got a lot of things for us I've got a lot of things to share with you about, of course, the topic of alcohol, but stick with me here. So we would go there and I would order the ice cream. Well, I decided enough is enough. I need to make a change. And so we would go to the ice cream place and I'd be like, I'm good. I don't really want any ice cream. And he would get upset with me that I didn't want ice cream. And I'm like, seriously, I just don't want it right today. I just want to make a change. And he would be upset because that's the thing that we do. But it's really honestly what's going on inside of him. It was a reflection of him because, of course, he needs to lose a little bit of weight. And he was eating the ice cream and I wasn't. And it was making him feel bad about himself. So if your partner is making you feel bad about drinking and not supporting you, about cutting back and not supporting you, it's really a reflection of what's going on inside of them. You have to know that. You have to realize that. So if they're self-sabotaging. And so I have just literally cut back on the ice cream, and I've gone back to eating a small, and sometimes I just say, no, thank you. Today I just don't want any ice cream. And you can do the same thing with alcohol. But you might have to end up reassuring your partner that I promise you, I love you the same. We can still have just as much fun together. As we sit in the same, and at the restaurant, in the bar, or as I drink my water, or you drink your sparkling water, or whatever it is that you're drinking, or a glass of wine instead of the margarita, if you're just cutting back on alcohol by volume content, the percentage, that's an improvement too. That's cutting back. That counts as well. That's cutting back too. So there's two ways to think about this. You can either not tell them at all and just kind of cut back quietly. And honestly, now with the whole ice cream thing, I just don't even say anything. I just, won't order anything, or I will just order a really small amount, and not eat the whole thing because I just really don't want it. I just really want to cut back. It's like the same thing. It's different, but it's the same. And this is how you can start to think about this. You don't have to tell them at all, or you can tell them, but you have to reassure them that nothing's going to change inside of your relationship. And then also for you, I felt like I had to, at one point in time, I felt like I had to stay caught up. Oh, you're one ahead of me. Let me hurry up and drink this one so I can catch up. You don't have to catch up. here's a way to think about this is if your partner, which my partner is a foodie, he likes to eat, and he's eating and he's getting like taking seconds and I'm done, I don't feel like I have to order, like put seconds on my plate to stay caught up with him with food. The same thing goes with alcohol. You don't have to stay caught up with them. They're not even probably paying attention that you're not caught up. And if they are, you can be like, okay, but I want to last the whole night. I want to, stay awake, whatever. I'm just going to drink water in between. They will usually understand unless there's something going on inside of them and they want you to drink more. It's usually a reflection of something going on with them. Just like my example with the ice cream. So let me just check my notes and make sure that, yeah. And then just the last thing that I want you to think about is I want you to think about if the role was reversed. So if the role was reversed and they came to you, your partner came to you and said, I actually want to cut back on drinking, how would you react? You might be like, well, if you're already here and listening to this podcast, then you're probably going to be very supportive of your partner and be like, that's great. I am so glad that you're going to cut back or drink less alcohol. You would probably be very supportive. So your partner might be also very supportive of you as well. It's your choice whether you want to tell him or her or not. And I bet that if you don't say a word, like I never said a word to my partner that I was cutting back. He didn't even really like notice just because I just didn't say anything. I just kept it to myself. And probably if I would have kept the whole ice cream thing to myself too, he probably wouldn't have noticed either unless I just didn't order anything. Then he of course would notice. And if you're not going to order anything, then your partner might notice that as well. And you can just explain why you're doing it. They are most likely going to be very supportive. So think about if that role is reversed. Of course, you're going to be supportive of your partner. Of course, I'm supportive of you, you might say to him or her. Congratulations. I'm really happy that you're going to make this change. And they might say the same thing too. So that's what I just wanted to share with you all today, because I know that if you're cutting back and you have a partner that's how you typically connect. You go to your favorite restaurant and you connect over drinks after work or on the weekend or drinking that beer together. And here's one thing also that you can ask your partner to do and say, hey, I know that you love bringing me home my favorite wine or my favorite beer or whatever, but I'm just going to ask you to get something that I don't like. Get that dark liquor because you know I won't drink that. Get that red wine because you know I won't drink that. And don't bring my favorite stuff home. Just get what you like or something that I don't like and have them do that if they're supportive of you. And if they continue to bring you your favorite beverage, even though you've asked them to not do that, then let's talk. Then write in and I will do an episode on that. We'll go deeper on that topic. So that's what I have for you all today. I just want to say thank you so much for being a listener of the podcast. I really do appreciate you guys. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your emails. I appreciate when you contact me. And I look forward to being here with you again next week. So going live next week, next Monday. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.